Amaewhule-led Rivers State House of Assembly is conducting its own probe of the October 7 violent attacks and destruction of some local government area secretariats in the state. Some of the council secretariats were burnt and some persons killed in the riots that ensued when the newly inaugurated local government chairmen took over their secretariats. News of the Assembly's probe of the mayhem came a few days after the 7-member Judicial Commission of Inquiry set up by Governor Siminalayi Fubara to probe the destruction submitted its report to the governor. Fubara had vowed to implement the white paper is expected to be issued on the Commission's recommendation. Addressing the Assembly at its sitting on Thursday, Speaker Amaewhule asked the House Committee on Public Complaints and Petitions to expedite action on the various petitions referred to it. Amaewhule particularly asked the committee to turn in its report of the investigation of October 7 disturbances. The Speaker's Special Assistant on Media, Martins Wachuku, said Amaewhule reminded the committee of Section 128 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, which he said empowers the House to conduct investigations. The committee chairman, Enemy Judge, said due diligence was being taken to ensure that everybody concerned was given a fair hearing. Judge pledged that reports on the various petitions and investigations will be presented to the House soon. Chief Jackson, what do you make of this story?
At the end of the day, it will make caricature of the entire probe. If the governor has set up within his constitutional reach, if he has set up a committee that at the end of the day he will sign and publish the white paper, and the House of Assembly to have set up their own within the ambit of the law too, and if they set up their own, the report, if they send it to the governor and governor refuse to sign it, they have the power to override the governor at a particular numbers of days. So at the end of the day, you now discover that this thing that happened, the action in destruction and other thing that happened sometimes ago, the report will be coming from two sides, because the people, the committee, the governor set up, the people they are going to invite, they are not the same people the House of Assembly people will invite.
Why do you say that?
Definitely the people that ordinarily would have honored the commission set up by the governor, they won't go and repeat themselves to go and honor that about Amaewhule.
But then the House of Assembly is also empowered to probe certain...
I have said it. I've said it as if within the ambit of their power too. You understand? But what we are talking about is that there wouldn't have been anything better than the River State government. When we say the River State government, is both the executive and the legislative and even the judicial arms. Who is going to implement that of the governor? The governor.
Who will then implement that of the legislature?
The legislature, if they present, they're supposed to present it to the governor.
Yes.
For governor to assent it. But in this case, they may not present it to him. And if they present it to him, he may refuse to sign it. But they can override him. They have the power to override him. It's so far two-thirds majority of them has approved of it. So at the end of the day, what are we talking about? There will be confusion. And that is what people like us are praying for. There shouldn't be confusion in the governance of River State. Let it be peaceful all through. But can we achieve the peace now? It's not palatable.
Now, when you look at this critically, one would wonder, this move by the River State House of Assembly is, in the aftermath of the outcome of the Judicial Panel of Inquiry set up by the governor. One would say, why didn't the River State House of Assembly act before now? You also recall because I asked this question when the governor set up the judicial panel of inquiry. I was asking the question, why didn't the governor also set up judicial panel of inquiry into the bombing of the Rivers State House of Assembly complex? And now, the Rivers State House of Assembly, led by Honorable Martin Amaewhule, have instituted an inquiry into the burning of some secretariats on October 7. The question would be, why didn't they make this move when their own complex, the Rivers State House of Assembly complex, was bombed? Yes, they did suspend about 4 members of the Rivers State House of Assembly on account of the burning down of that complex or the bombing of that complex, but they did not set up a panel of inquiry to investigate what happened. Would one say that just like the governor is also being fingered at being partisan with regards to this inquiry, would one say that the Rivers State House of Assembly is just being merely reactionary?
The thing there is, as at that time, this brouhaha was just brooding.
Okay.
You understand? Nobody knew that it could escalate to this point, that we will have faction, that we will have 2 speakers, let me put it that way, so that not to offend anybody, that a time is coming that we will have 2 speakers in Rivers State House of Assembly in 2 separate assemblies. Nobody knew that time. But the matter is escalating, is getting worse on a daily basis. And it will end up, if care is not taken, with something more dramatic. Definitely the governor did not recognize them in 2024 budget. And the governor will not recognize them again in 2025 budget. So what are we talking about? So to me, these people have the right to quarrel. They have the right not to greet themselves as persons. But when it comes to issue of governance, I think these people, for God's sake, should come together.
But apparently that's not working. They appear to be...
That is not working.
Parallel lines that is
not working. But it's not good for the state. It's not good for the reputation of the state. Sometimes ago, a court ruled that 2024 presentation was wrong. And by extension, if we want to look at that, by extension, all the commissioners, special advisors that were cleared are approved.
By this in Anoko Jumbo.
Yes. They are, at the same time, you can say there is null and void too. So, to me, I'm not friendly with any one of them. What I want is a united government in Rivers State. They may decide not to visit each other. There is personal relationship, there is official relationship. Personal relationship could be affected, but they should not allow it to affect official relationship, because that has to do with a lot of people.
Now, do you see, now you have, in your statement, you said that you do not see the governor presenting the 2025 budget to the Rivers State House of Assembly.
Periscopically, I have not been able to see it in my...
Your vision.
In my vision. I have not been able to see it. I have checked my spiritual binocular. I have not been able to cite anything like that.
Okay, now if that is the case, would one say that governance is going to happen in 2025? Because it appears that both parties are waiting for the Supreme Court judgment.
At the end of the day, we are waiting for the Supreme Court judgment.
And if it doesn't come this year, have you thought about that? Considering the fact that we are running full cycle budget in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So the lifespan of every budget is from January to December.
And I think the Supreme Court will expect that action. That before the presentation of this, they should ameliorate the ruling, should be able to ameliorate the system. What do I mean by that? The ruling of the Supreme Court, whosoever that is not satisfied with it can only go to God.
But now,
so something should be done. It is not going to be good.
Now, in the face of the fact that, well, Supreme Court judgment has not come yet.
Yes.
And governance has to happen. What do you advise? What is the way forward? Because it appears that political solution is completely out of it right now.
There is no political solution that can handle this matter. Each of them has ego.
What is the way forward at this point? Because, I mean, right now, one would say River State is between the devil and the blue sea.
There is no,
like it or yes, the people are...
There is no spiritual intervention needed now. There is no political, traditional, religious, cultural intervention needed now. We are waiting for the Supreme Court.
Now that the judgment...
Because the Supreme Court, the judgment will be supreme. And every other person must abide by it.
All right. Now, pending when Supreme Court judgment is given.
Yes.
What is the way forward out of this conundrum that we found ourselves in River State? What's the way forward? What do you propose?
What I propose?
Yes.
No, I'm not proposing anything because I see no possibility of settlement. The only option now remaining is for the judgment of the Supreme Court.
Right.
Because the House of Assembly of Amaewhule-led now and that of Okojombo and the executive, there are 3 parallel lines now. And what we used to hear is 2 parallel lines. There are 3 parallel lines now that can never meet.
Oh, okay. Very well. Fingers crossed. I will bring you development.
The Supreme Court should help us.
Supreme Court should help.
Because by the time they pronounce, it's not just court of judgment.
When you say Supreme Court, of course Supreme Court will give its judgment, but then there has been judgment by lower courts. There have been judgment by appeal courts. When we are saying Supreme Court should help, probably it's time to say both actors in this River State crisis, everybody should start obeying court judgment pending when Supreme Court gives its verdict.
I think if there is another legislation that when there is a ruling, everybody must obey before the judgment of the appellate court. In this case, the Court of Appeal has ruled.
Was it vacated?
It was not vacated, but immediately you appeal, the status quo will remain.
What is the status quo that will remain?
That is, the thing will remain the way it is.
Does the appeal... When a court gives judgment...
Yes. But immediately, assuming River State government do not appeal to the Supreme Court and do not obey the Court of Appeal, would have been saying River State government had violated or disrespect.
Okay, now let me ask you a question.
The appeal court would have been amounted to contempt.
Oh, okay, very well.
But now they have appealed to the Supreme Court.
I asked you if there was vacation of the judgment of the appeal court. You said no. Now
I don't know.
Let me give you. Let me give you an example with the judgment of the appeal court.
Okay.
Over the matter of Justice Omotosho. Now, when the appeal court was giving its judgment, it held the River State governor in contempt. And he said that the River State governor, that there was a judgment by the lower court. And in that instance already, the governor, though...
I understand now.
Hold on.
Simply, Court of Appeal upheld...
We are going back to what you have said. Hold on, Chief Jackson. Now, when the appeal court was speaking, he said, in affirming the judgment of the lower court, it held the governor in contempt. And that contempt was that the governor did not obey the judgment of the lower court in presenting the budgets and recognizing Martin Amaewhule and every other thing that was embedded in the prayer that was granted by Justice Omotosho of the Federal High Court, Abuja. Now, the appeal court said that the governor did not obey that judgment but had come to appeal the judgment. Now, what that means is simple. That was why I asked you, was it vacated? Whether you are appealing to appeal court or Supreme Court, you can only set aside a judgment through vacation or through a judgment by a higher court setting aside that judgment. But if you appeal and in course of your appeal, you also appeal for stay of execution. If that stay of execution is denied, it means that that judgment is subsisting. And the only thing that can set aside that judgment is the judgment of a higher court. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So in this instance, was that judgment vacated?
No, I don't think I follow it up to that extent.
If that judgment was not vacated, one would say the parties should just, why don't they obey the court judgment pending when Supreme Court nullifies it or affirms it, or, you know, in the judgment brings up another locus classicus that, you know, we can always use as a reference.
Okay,
legal precedents.
In this case, I understand your expression and your analysis. That is the weakness of the judicial system in Nigeria.
Implementation of judgment or what?
Yeah, implementation of judgment.
All right.
If your analysis now is what it should be, I think if your junior colleague here now, you corrected and you give her instruction, and it disobey your instruction, immediately is getting to the chairman, and the chairman knew that you have given instruction. The chairman is supposed to return her back to you. Go and meet your sectional head and obey whatever she has told you. In obedience, you can now come to me and explain. So to me, if this expression is normal and is how it should be, I think by the time these people disobey the justice of matters of Federal High Court, and now the Court of Appeal said they held them in contempt for not obeying that one, and they rule again, and these people did not,
it's still not being obeyed,
obey the Supreme Court of Appeal too, and they are going to the Supreme Court. I think as they are filing the Supreme Court should throw it away and direct them to go and
now you see
to go and obey.
When you're talking about that, you are speaking with respect to an office that has immunity. You see the thing, the office has immunity. So yes, one could say
it's criminal immunity, not constitutional immunity, not judicial immunity.
Well,
the governor can be sued.
How do you implement
the governor
judgment?
The governor can be sued, and if there is any judgment, you understand, it can be kept there. One day he will vacate office.
All right.
Yes.
Well, how practical is that in Nigerian politics? But then, how practical is that in Nigerian politics? I mean, haven't we had situations with people with the noose around their neck, and the moment they defect
in the
ruling party?
See, in the normal climb.
Well,
in the normal climb, judiciary is more powerful than both the legislative and the executive put together.
All right.
Because the ruling, the pronouncement of the court can do a lot of things.
Okay.
But here, you might even be in court, and because you decamp to one party, and your case will be kept under the carpet in the court.
All right.
It's not like that in some other climate, even in Ghana here.